management also looks at other aspects like tax optimization, retirement planning, estate planning. So these are the things that can make big difference if you ignore these things. So wealth manage look at the wealth management as like keeping more what you earn by tax optimization, and make sure your assets go where you want. That means estate planning, and making sure that you can live comfortably in the future. That covers the retirement planning aspect of the wealth management. The key in the wealth management is personalization. So everyone's situation is different. So your strategy should match your goals uh, and risk tolerance and circumstances. In the end, wealth management is really about creating a roadmap that helps you to grow and protect your wealth. So next, I would quickly touch what is what are the tools that available for this investing, wealth planning, and financial plan. So traditionally, we relied heavily on financial advisors for everything. So investment, retirement, taxes, even estate planning, they had the knowledge and experience and tool to guide us. Today, that's changing because technology has made a lot of this knowledge freely accessible, and AI-based tools, apps, and online platforms can help you to track spending, maybe suggest investment, project retirement needs, or even optimize taxes. So the best part is with the technology, now you are in control and you can get insight anytime, anywhere without relying entirely on an advisor. Of course, advisors are still valuable for complex situations, but the basic of wealth management are now within everyone's reach. In short, technology doesn't replace advisors, it complements them. It helps you to make smarter, faster, and more informed financial decisions while giving you more control over your wealth management. So our next, the second part will look at what are these available alternatives like AI-based tools and apps and online platforms. So as we wrap up, I want to here are the key takeaways. The first one is plan early and review often. In your financial planning, this is uh, the most crucial part. You have to plan early, and you have to keep on changing according to the circumstances. The earlier you start, the more time that your wealth has to grow, and the more flexible you are in navigating life changes. And it is not starting early is not enough. That you have to regularly review your plan to ensure that you stay on track and adapt to the new circumstances. So it is important that you stay disciplined and not reactive. So markets will fluctuate, trends will come and go, but reacting impulsively can undo years of careful planning. So stick to your strategy, make decision based on facts, and avoid letting emotions drive your choices. Finally, use the right tool and seek advice when you need. Technology and AI-based tools can provide incredible insights. But there are times that when professional guidance is invaluable, especially for complex decisions. And the combination of smart tools, professional advice, and your disciplined approach create a good foundation for the financial success. So in the end, remember this, that you have to start early, stay disciplined, and leverage the resources around you. That is the roadmap to building and protecting your wealth today and for the future. Thank you very much. So that would be my that will be the end of my presentation. Travis, over to you.
Yeah, thanks so much for that, Vasantha. Yeah. So yeah, I think that gave us a good grounding, and I think it probably raised a lot of questions for you to also think about, like when you're like you as individuals, when you're like deciding in terms of where to invest your money or like how to spend. I think there's a lot of important things that like Vasantha brought out, and I'll try to pick out those when I'm also like highlighting some of these the tools and platforms that I want to highlight today. Yeah, so thanks so much for that, Vasantha. And yeah, please do, like, if you have any questions for Vasantha also, please do send it in via the Q&A, and we'll take those up at the end. So yeah, so let me just share my screen as well. I hope you all can, I think you should be seeing it now. So yeah, so hi everyone. So what I want to cover in this section is to pretty much to like complement what Vasantha said. So broadly, we are looking at three main areas. So one is in terms of your expense management slash your financial planning, then your retirement planning, as well as investments. So we are looking at across those three areas, what are some of the new technologies that we can use to help you to succeed in those aspects, to help you better get a grasp of your finances, and to sort of succeed in that. So what I'll be covering here is across these different categories. I've identified what are some of the AI powered and Gen AI powered tools and platforms that are out there. And I'll do like a small review of each of those platforms, and give a bit about like the key features and benefits, and really highlight what is new about them. Because I mean, we've always had like software platforms that you can, and apps that you can do this, but now with AI, there are some new possibilities that are brought about with them. So as a result, it really makes things much more easier, and even someone who is not versed in like finance can really get a leg up by using these platforms. So I want to highlight what are some of those new features that have been enabled because of AI. And then for a few of these tools, I will also do like a small demo just to show you, get a flavor of like what these platforms look like, what are some of the features of them, and how you can potentially use those. Yeah. So right off the bat, a few key things I want to highlight. So as Vasantha said, most of these tools are it's going to complement, you seeking, it's not a replacement for you seeking like professional advice, and what investment advisors, the sort of like the service that they are offering. So this is very much like a complement to that. So it's something that can like help you to like understand more about your investments. What are the strategies that you can take to like make your money grow, how to like manage your expenses. So this very much is a complement to that. The other caveat I also need to say is that a lot of these tools that I've found, so I basically like looked at across the globe in terms of what are some of the popular tools that are out there for a lot of these. Unfortunately, when it comes to a lot of these global tools, two challenges that we face, us sitting here in Sri Lanka and like applying this. So one is a lot of these tools tend to be like very much geared towards like the US market. So for example, when it comes to things like retirement planning and things like that, a lot of those tools are very specific to like the US. Of course, there are certain aspects of that we can still use. So I want to like highlight that, and I will give some tips in terms of how you can maybe we can sort of like complement it to the particular situation that we are in now. The other thing, of course, is that many of these tools, there are some free tools that are out there, and I'll highlight some of them. But many of these, for you to access like the deep sort of like the AI features, they are on a paid plan as well. So what I want to do in today's session is I'll just give you the information. I'm not like making any recommendation on like any particular tool that is there, just to present you with like the different options that are there. And maybe some of these tools they tend to have like a free tier. So you can like try them out for yourself and see if you feel there is something worthwhile investing in this, then you can go ahead and do that. Yeah. So those are just a few things to like keep in mind. And of course, this is just based on a lot of these solutions are things that based on my research, I like came across. Some of the most of them are not things that I like actively use. So because of that, this is I mean, I've structured this very much as like as an introductory informational session. So just before you decide to spend money on these tools, please do your due diligence and see whether it's something that is right for you. So with that out of the way, I think we can, I want to highlight some of the key areas that I want to cover today. So broadly, these are the five sort of areas that I'm going to look at in terms of the type of tools that are available there. So one is in terms of this financial planning and budgeting. So a lot of these are sort of like mobile apps, which are sort of like, it helps you to, the main feature that it has, it allows you to like track spending. And you can record your spending, all your inflows and outflows. You can categorize them, and it also helps you to prepare like budgets and see whether you are within your budget or not, and helps you to see whether they're on track or not in those aspects. And I want to highlight like some of where AI comes into the picture and how those can like enhance those platforms. The other thing is when it comes to financial education and coaching. So like Vasant said, now one good thing about like AI is that it has like democratized a lot of the information that is out there. So now with these, so there are platforms that are sort of like they're like a, similar to like having like a coach for like, your physical training or things like that. You now have like a finance coach who will like sort of like, periodically like remind you about like the importance of saving, and about like if you're like overspending and things like that. So there are kind of like these conversation, like these AI assistants or chatbots that can help you to coach you about like making better financial decisions, as well as to help with that financial literacy. Then another area would be the retirement planning platform. So these are platforms that are dedicated to help with your retirement planning. So this is about tracking your sort of like income longitudinally, looking at, what are your spending goals, and, what are your, when it comes to your retirement planning, and how, and as Vasant said, there are things you need to take, key things you need to take into account, like the impact of tax, impact of inflation. So these platforms can help you to sort of like map out what the future looks like. Then we also go into these investment management platforms. So these are very much I'm looking at in terms of platforms that are sort of accessible to like individual investors, rather than the ones that are geared towards finance professionals and like research analysts. So these are things like, if you have like if you've invested in like the stock market, how do you keep track of your portfolio? And they provide like insights and like analysis on that. And finally, we also have financial research assistants. So these are like if you want to do some individual research into like companies about their performance and things like that, there are a couple of like this chatbot like assistants that are out there that are specialized for like finance related applications. So those are the broadly the five categories of solutions that I'll be covering today. And yeah, so these are some of the solutions that I looked at. As I said, it's not a comprehensive look at all of them, but based on my reviews, these are some tools that I found that we might have some application that we can apply, for us sitting here in Sri Lanka. Most of these are like global applications. There's a few local ones also I want to highlight. And These are some of the tools that you can turn to. So most of them are fairly similar in terms of their features. So I won't go through each one by one. I'll just give what are some of the key features under each of them, and maybe then use one of the examples to like demo what are the things that you can do with each of those solutions. Yeah. So first of all, when it comes to financial planning and budgeting, so then before we get into that, I want to put up a quick poll just to see like when it comes to your financial planning, is this when it comes to like say your day-to-day expenses and things like that, is that something you like regularly track? So maybe if you can respond to this first poll, would appreciate that. I think you should see the poll up on your screen now. Yeah, I'll give it a few more seconds. Okay, yeah, I think we got a good amount of responses. Yeah, let me just give another 10 seconds, then we'll this. Yeah, let me end the poll and let me just share the results. So yeah, so I think you can see the results on your screen as well. So yeah, I think the majority are saying somewhat you do have an idea in terms of like your spending, and it seems like majority are tracking your expenses. A few are doing it digitally, but there are also few who are not doing it at all. So I think this might be a good starting point. And like going back to like what Vasantha said as well, I think he has clearly shown like the importance of tracking your expenses and your inflows to help with your planning. So these are some tools that might help you to get a start to that. So in terms of so most of these tools that I'll be highlighting, a lot of them are sort of like most of them are like mobile apps. So if you like search on like your app store, or like on whether it's iOS or like Android, you can find a lot of these. Like if you search for like expense management or expense tracking, you can find enough of these solutions that are there. And in terms of like, so there's always been like these kind of like expense tracking apps, and to track your expenses and income, and to do some like budgeting and all. But now with AI, some of these tools now goes beyond just simply like just inputting what your expenses and incomes are. So these are some of the new capabilities that are enabled because of AI. So one is that it's much more easier now. It's taking out some of that manual process that is involved in like expense tracking, where you usually have to, manually enter the details and things like that. Now a lot of these have like automated ways to classify. So if you just, type some sort of expense that you have, say like you're paying for your like electricity bill, or like your internet bill and all, it can automatically like categorize. It can identify and like categorize those type of transactions, where based on your past behavior, it can learn those, and it can like automatically so it can automate some of those functions away. The other thing is that based on like your spending pattern, so you can see, on a regular basis what you're spending on, it can kind of give like cash flow forecasting based on like what your upcoming expenses are, and taking into account that, as well as like your inflows. So it can give you some predictions about like your future cash flows that can help you with your planning on that. This can also be like personalized in real time. So a lot of these like apps now have like an AI assistant as well. So like it can like basically like monitor your, for example, your expenses, and say whether are you, is there a danger of you like going over budget and things like that. So it can in real time, it can like provide those like alerts to you. And also the other thing is you can also now query these expenses. For example, if you want to find out, okay, in the last month, how much did I spend on like transportation? Or like how much did I spend when I were like, going out for like restaurants and things like that. You can just type in natural language, query them, and they will give you some insights on that. So those are some of the new features that have been enabled because of AI. So there's quite a lot of solutions that are out there. So I'll just like highlight one. This is the one that I also use, which is called Pocket Expense. So this is an iOS app, and I think for Android users, there are like very equivalent apps also like this that you will find if you like search on the on your app store. So yeah, so basically what this would do is that you have a platform on your app. You can basically like enter like whatever the expenses that you that you encounter on day-to-day basis. So since it's a mobile app also, like, it's on the go, you can just quickly like enter those details. You can quickly like, if you have a bill, you can quickly like scan the bill, and it'll automatically like populate that data. So that's one thing that it does. The other thing is that you can also enter like all your different accounts that you have, all the different inflows that you have on that, from your savings, your any investment income that you're getting, if there's from a salary and all of that, you can enter those details. And then there's also a budgeting feature for that. So for each of the different categories of expenses, you can maybe set a particular budget, when it comes to food and expense or like transportation, etc. So what you can do is you can set different targets for each of those. And yeah, so these are some of the key features of that. So you can have multiple accounts. It can like help with that bill tracking. It can also like have, it has like multi-currency support as well. So if you're like getting your, say if your salary is like in dollars, things like that, you can automatically handle like the conversion and things like that. So this is one option. So but since this is a mobile app, I can't like do like a live demo of it to show what exactly it looks like. But I have a few screenshots just to show you what it looks like. So this is kind of like what the interface looks like. So you can, on a day-to-day basis, you have like a calendar. You can like basically enter your details of like the different expenses, and you can see over time, like for a particular period, you can see for a particular month like how much you are spending on for the different categories of expenses. And if you have like the paid version, you can also then download it as a report, and or import it to like an Excel for you to do your own analysis of that. And this is also what I showed you in terms of the budget. So you can like set budgets for each of these different items, and you can like query uh, for each of these different categories, and you can then in real time you can observe which are the things that you're in danger of like going over budget and not. Yeah, so this is what these expense management solutions look like. So a general thing is with a lot of these solutions, they offer like a free tier where you can like enter your expenses and things like that. But usually to access some of the more premier features, which includes like where to enable some of these AI related features, you would need to like get like a subscription for this. So what I would say is just have a look at the different options that are out there and see what would like suit your needs. So this is another popular one, is called like Rocket Money. So this is another one that is quite popular, particularly in the US, which also offers like similar sort of features. So most of these are like app-based sort of solutions. So these are a few more. There's another one called Q Capital. Then there's the things that are a bit more pricier and things that have more like extensive features are these two called Monarch and Copilot Money. So this one is another one which, so this has like a built-in AI assistant as well. So where you can use the AI assistant to query, the transactions that you have, and it'll give you like various insights on that. So these are another one like that is this Copilot Money as well. Yeah. So these are some of the features. So I think after this session, we will be sharing this presentation deck with you as well, where you can see these details. And as I said, have a look on your own and see what works for you best. So yeah, so maybe I'll put up another poll as well, just to see like, so right now, in terms of what are the kind of solutions that you're using to track your expenses. So let me launch this poll. Yeah, let me give it a few more seconds. And yeah, I think there's a clear winner here in terms of Excel spreadsheets. So yeah, I think many people, I think particularly like if you're working in the finance field, I think most of us are like used to like Excel and spreadsheets. So I mean, it's not to say that those solutions are completely not relevant, because right now a lot of those spreadsheets have also now incorporated some of these AI features. So you can use them now for like analysis and things like that. But I would say like you can also look at these mobile apps, because I would say one advantage of like having a mobile app is that at least you can you can sort of then and there in the moment whenever you, because most of your expenses would probably be taking place when you're on the go. So you can like quickly like record things as you go along. And then, most of them also do allow you to like then export those details to Excel or like download it as a report. So, if you're interested, you could try some of these mobile apps also. You can give it a shot with that. Yeah. Yeah, so if there's any questions, just feel free to like send in your questions. And yeah, if you have any other, if there's any other like apps that you have used for budget tracking that you feel might be helpful to others, please do like share that with us as well. Um, yeah, so if there's no questions on that, we'll move to the next category, which is on retirement planning platforms. So yeah, so like Vasant said, I think the earlier you can plan to do this, the better. So you need to, this is something that you need to start thinking about and planning for it. So again, I think when it comes to retirement planning, again, maybe we would have been, very much like reliant on like financial planners, or like maybe you're like ad hoc, you might be like tracking like your wealth and things like that. But what these retirement planning platforms do, and now with the added features of AI, these are some of the new things that you can do. So one is they have a key feature of these platforms is they have this dynamic scenario modeling. So that is, in real time, if you adjust some of those core assumptions about, your wealth plan. So for example, if you decide to like retire at like 60 versus 65, or like say if there's suddenly like some change in your like financial circumstances, if you're like having if you suddenly like have if you if there's a change in whatever in your personal life situations, or let's say like there's suddenly like a significant increase in like inflation or things like that, you can in real time see what happens to your wealth and like your projections through these dynamic scenario modeling that is enabled by AI. So that is one core feature that these retirement planning platforms have compared to like if you're just tracking it on your own using like spreadsheets and things like that. The other thing is that a lot of these are like very personalized, because say if you're using like insurance providers and things like that, a lot of the solutions they would be providing would be fairly like standardized. Versus this kind of the platforms here can go into a lot of granularity, and you can really um, it can be very personalized to your specific situations, taking into account your like your health data or your like particular your financial goals and like your particular circumstances. The degree to which you can personalize tends to be greater in these kind of platforms. The other thing is that this AI can like continuously update them. So whenever there is like new information comes in about say like the in terms of the inflation forecast or like the changes in the interest rates, these platforms can automatically like update them in real time. And and particularly like Vasan said, important things are things like tax changes in taxes or changes in those inflation rates. So a lot of these can like dynamically adjust for that. One challenge, of course, is that a lot of these platforms are like geared more towards like the US market. Of course, we can still like even despite that though, we can what I would say is that we can still use some of the features of these platforms to like we can like kind of customize it to our particular circumstances here. So two of them I want to highlight. So one is this projection labs. This is a retirement planning platform, so it's a browser-based one, and it does have like a free tier as well. So you can like play around with it and see if it is like something that is helpful for you. So yeah, so some of the key features of that is that it has this scenario modeling that you can do. So once you enter all your details about your particular circumstances, it'll basically create like a forecast for like how your wealth and your income is going to evolve over time. And like it can give like detailed like cash flow charts, and it can track your like financial milestones and things like that. So yeah, so if we jump into like a quick demo of that, let me just take you to that. So this is Projection Labs. So this is the website. So over there, so at the start, once you like sign up for it, you can start by like entering your details. So this is manually, you can like enter all your details, but for the purpose of this demo, I'll just use one of the pre-built templates to like highlight some of the features that it has. So over here in the sandbox mode, I will go to this. So over here, you can select basically a particular profile of someone. So as I said, if you go with the first option, you can customize it to your particular scenario, or if it's something that like roughly fits with your area, your sort of like personal circumstances, you can just select that, and then you can then customize it as you go along. So for example, if we take it as like early career, let's say for example, let's go with this example. So let's go with that, and let's so this profile, it says recently married, wants kids, considering buying a house. So that is the circumstances. So let's populate this. So yeah, so this is what the platform now looks like. So it has populated this platform. So it's basically like showing you how your net worth is going to evolve over time. So this is the dashboard over here. So from here you can see it gives you a breakdown of your assets. And if you go into each of these in detail, you can see like all the different sources you have. So like if say you're married, you can also enter the details of like your spouse and things like that. So all of these individual items you can just you can edit, and you can add details. So if you have another source of savings, you can just add the details here. Who is it? Is it a joint thing? Is it with your spouse? You can add for these separate items here. Yeah. So like that, for each of these items, you can then customize it accordingly. And under these, you also have, so these are your assets. You can also have your liabilities. So if you've taken out any car loans or anything, housing loans or anything, you can just add those details over here. And as you do that, it'll dynamically like adjust it. So for example, if I were to change this item here, so let's say, yeah, let's say if the current loan balance changes to, let's say, 9,000, right? So you can see in real time, it will like adjust all of these details. So that's what you can see over here from the dashboard. You can also see over here, it will tell you what the projections are. So you can, so here the interesting thing is you can set certain milestones for depending on your particular circumstances. For example, for this example they have given, they said that this person has like purchased this Tesla for 42,000, and he's going to and it'll tell you and so this is, and during that same year they're going to they've sold the existing car and paid off the car loan. Then they've also said, okay, by this year they're hoping to have like a kid, and by this time to purchase their first home, to have like a second kid. So like that, you can add certain milestones that you want for this, and and based on that, it will then track, taking those into account, what the impact is going to be. Yeah. So for example, for each of these, you can see over time, you can track your, by this feature over here, you can see as you move through time, how your net worth and all the different elements are changing with time. Yeah. So over here on the right hand side, you can see as the time is changing, you can also do this. Yeah. So that's another feature that we have in this. Then in terms of like, so this gives you an overview of like your current finances, what the circumstances are for each of them. You can go into detail into each of these items. And as you said, you can modify them as you go along. Yeah. This also shows like the progress that you're making towards as you're moving towards like retirement. So over here, you can see what you can change the timeline. You can see the different progress points, what's been happening there. Then if I go into this feature over here, you can see like the plans that you have. So this is based on the projections. So this is what I showed earlier. So you can now over here, you can like change these depending on your circumstances. You can in real time change these scenarios and see how it will change your plans. So if, for example, over your retirement age, so here you can set at what age are you going to retire? Yeah. So if you were to like adjust that. So let's say at this date, let's say your retirement is at this date. Let's say, let's change it to, let's say at 30, at you decide to like change it to, let's say 20, let's say at the start of 2034. So you just adjust this, and then you can see dynamically it will adjust that. So based on that, it will adjust your finances accordingly. So this is yours. Then if there's any like your life expectancy, you can adjust this. So let's say if you think maybe you can, what happens if you like live up to 90? Would you be able to, how much the impact it'll have on your like financing, things like that. So you can adjust each of these things, when all these key milestones that you're going to have, you can change those assumptions, and then in real time you can change. You can see what the impact would be. Yeah, so you can go into quite a lot of detail and like by adjusting and like playing around with each of these different things. Yeah. Another thing you can do is that you can do these kind of like what if. One is you can check in terms of like your success. Um, and so you can see whether so to achieve your like particular like financial goals, what is the chance that you would sort of like succeed in like meeting these particular goals, so you can like run like a simulation on this. Yeah. um, so yeah, so you can see that at this point, based on the current circumstances, it's telling you that your portfolio is not viable. That that under the circumstances you will not basically have sufficient funding for this kind of circumstances. So like that, there are different features you can do. Another thing you can do is you can do like this. You can compare like your different solutions, different between different scenarios. So this usually might be more of the premium features that you would get into. Um, so yeah, and you all can also like download these as a reports and things like that. So a lot of those kind of the more analytical features are usually things that would be behind a paywall. So you can, so what I would recommend is maybe you can try it out, um, try out the free features and see if that's something that is helpful for you to like help with your planning. And then you can decide whether you want to go for you want to access some of the pro features as well. Yeah. So this is one option that you can consider. Um, yeah, so that is one, Projection Labs. Another similar platform is also called Boldin. I will just quickly show this, but it's fairly similar to this. So this is another option, which is also called, which also gives you this kind of thing where you can have like your plan over here. So again, this was like a pre-populated, or I think I've like added some like few figures into that. And again, you can like track like how your savings, how your real estate investment, whatever your like wealth, how it will be changing over time. It kind of gives you this like financial wellness score and tell you whether are you like, what's the status of it? Are you likely to achieve it or not? Yeah. And also for all of these different items that you have, you can also sort of like adjust the sort of the assumptions that you're making about it. So let's say in terms of like your savings, how much savings that you're making, the contributions that you're making. So each of these items you can adjust them. And of course, a key thing is also in terms of things like these rate assumptions. For example, like by how much do you think? So, for example, over here they said, what the general inflation rate. So you can like adjust all of these numbers. So here it's using the historical average, but you can like customize it. You can also look at like optimistic or like pessimistic rates. So like that, each of these assumptions you can play around, and then in real time you can see what the impact is going to be on your financial circumstances. Yeah. So again, similar to the other solution, you can look at some of the features here. Again, most of the more analytical ones are things that where you would need to like go for their pro package. And I think one area where this AI is being used is where it comes to this coaching part over here. So here it's basically based on your the data that you have entered. It can also like give you some recommendations, in terms of like your investment choices and things like that. So that is something that you can look at over here, and sort of like it'll basically like based on your data, the AI will basically analyze your circumstances and make certain like suggestions and like recommendations. Yeah. So yeah, so this is another option you can sort of consider. Okay. So yeah, so those are the two I wanted to highlight with regard to the retirement planning space. There's a few other options. Most of them, what I've come across, they don't unfortunately have like a free tier. But these are also things you can have a look at if those are things of interest to you. Okay. So yeah, so that is the retirement planning related solutions. Let me then come to the investment management platforms. So these So these are basically like tools to like help you, like say if you're like investing, if you're like an individual investor in like the stock market or like the bond market, and you have a portfolio, how do you track the performance? I think again, most of us probably are using like Excel, but there are some of these other tools that can also like help you um, to maybe like provide more like insights and things like that. So let me just put up another small poll just to see, currently how everyone's approach is to when it comes to investments. So let me launch this poll. Okay, yeah, let me just make a few more seconds. Okay, right. So yeah, so right now I believe already many of you are already using like AI assistants to like, if you have any finance related queries. But I think I'll be in the next few sections also showing you some of the other tools that are out there where, instead of like just limiting yourself to like ChatGPT and platforms like that, which are more generalized answers, there are also some solutions that are more specific to like finance, to answering sort of finance related queries. So I'll be highlighting a few of those as we go along. So yeah, so coming back to this, if we so in terms of like the tools that are out there for you to like manage your like portfolio, there are a couple of platforms I want to highlight, and they are what the benefit that you have that is enabled with like AI is that it can consolidate multiple asset classes, and in this one single window you can like combine everything together. If not, for most of you, maybe like say maybe you're investing in the stock market, you might have a separate might getting separate updates on that. Then you might have invested in bonds or like in fixed deposits and things like that. So it might be a bit disparate sources of funding that you have, but you can like basically with a lot of these like platforms, you can put them all together in one place. So that is one thing. You can consolidate all of them here, and then what AI can do is then it can like looking across all of those different investments, it can give you certain insights and advice. The other thing is it can also do like predictive analytics. So one of the examples I want to show is with regard to the stock market. When you have like a stock portfolio, it can detect sort of like emerging trends and keep you alerted about key developments that happen that are affecting like maybe that might affect like the performance of those stocks that you have invested in. And say if it's not if your portfolio is not like diversified enough. So like Vasant said, about the importance of like diversification and so it can give you certain like nudges to like take those into account. And the other thing is it also provides it in a very visual way, so that it can help you to like summarize and helps you to like understand in an easy to understand manner, the performance of your portfolio and like some of the recommendations around that. Yeah. Um, yeah, so under this, I think maybe you might already be familiar with this one. I believe it's quite a popular one. It's called like simply Wall Street. It's an investment management platform. So it's a browser-based one, and it does have like a free tier as well, which for your portfolio. And it also has like premium one with like additional features. So basically what it does is it allows you to like to track your like portfolio. And it's like it has a stock screening feature. You can create like a watch list, and it'll basically like give information about the different stocks. And it also like has these features where it can gauge like the sentiment of the market and things like that, and it even gives like community valuations. So you can get some insights about like the performance you can expect for those stocks. So if I just highlight that for a moment, so here. So yeah, so this is what Simply Wall Street looks like. So again, if you like sign up to this, so here on your on the dashboard, you can see like it basically gives you an overview of like the portfolios that you have. So you can have like multiple portfolios. You can see so this is just giving the different so this is the broad indices. You can have a look at that, and over here it shows you like your portfolio performance. So if you go to the specific portfolio, so over here I've just created like a dummy one. You can have like multiple portfolios as well. So if I go to the specific one I have here, so here, what's included in this portfolio are these three stocks. So under that, it's basically like showing how your performance is, and it's tracking it against the US market. So if you want to compare it instead against, let's say uh, the um, the ASPI, I believe you should be able to get that. Yeah. So you can see how does your portfolio do versus the broad market index. And it gives like a breakdown in terms of like what the returns you're expecting on it. So yeah, so if you were to like create this kind of portfolio, you just need to use this, go to this feature, you can say new portfolio, and you can select what your broker is. So for let's give for example, let's say equity or something. Uh, is given. And you can then enter, you can do this manually. You can add your current holdings and average cost, or you can upload your entire trade history. So with this, you can upload it. So like if you have like an Excel, you can directly like upload those details to this. So it's in this Excel format, so you can directly like import them. So if you have like in an Excel format, it'll basically like recognize the details and it will like populate these. So if you have like the ticker, so these are the key details that you require. So you can input those. However, if you want to do like a quick uh, uh, thing on that, we can just go back. Let's go with the other option of, again, if I enter this, if I enter opening balances, so you can just search for the particular companies that are of interest to you. So let's say John King. You can just search for the particular company, edit, and then you just need to you just select the one, you can say continue. You can keep adding more stocks, and then you just type in how many shares do you have and what is the average price. So this is like a quick way for you to like quickly like form a portfolio. So you add whatever stocks you need, and then it will quickly generate that portfolio. So once you have the portfolio, for sure, like some of the features you can do with that. So one is it gives you that breakdown of like your returns, like how much is unrealized, how much have you got from dividends, etc. Then you can also go into the individual sort of like portfolio and sort of see the details about it. So you can get a lot of like insights from this. It like gives you, what are like the positive things about it, what are like the risk factors about it. Then also based on like community valuations, there might be some like fair value estimates about it. You can based on this you can see so against like the current price and versus the fair value, whether is this going to be overvalued or undervalued. So you can set what the fair price is going to be, and based on that you can track like your performance. Let me just close this. Yeah, so I think with the free plan, of course, it's a ad supported platform, so you will have to deal with those ads if you're like doing the free platform. So yeah, so like here, for example, you can set what the fair value price is for the stock, and then based on that, you can change the details of this, of like your value and things like that. So it also like highlights some risks, etc. So like that for all of your portfolio, you can those are the kind of details that you can get. And also importantly, you can also see that based on this, overall, it kind of like gives you also some sort of advice over here, looking at your portfolio overall. What are the things that are positive? What are the things that are negative? So if you go into the details here, so it says, for these particular stocks, these are like the key risks that are there. And for the high reward ones, these are the positive things. So that's one thing it can do by looking at the portfolio as a whole. It can sort of like give you some sort of like advice on that. Yeah. So you have this also gives you, so this tab gives you like the returns breakdown in terms of like you show in the breakdown in terms of dividends versus the other returns. Then over here, it also gives you some from the community. What are some of the recommendations that are there about those particular stocks? Um, the narratives that are there that have come from like different analysts. So you can see here for the stocks they've given there's like an analyst target price as well, and you can read the details about what is being what has been said about this. Yeah. So that is there. You can also, it's also a good way to like track like updates from these companies. So you can set like notifications to like see. So whenever there's some new announcement that is upcoming, you can track them easily from here. You can also see, the trajectory for like dividends and things like that, and what is expected, and looking at the past trends of like the growth and all for that. And there's also like analysis features that are also here. So this is looking at the overall portfolio. It calculates some of these key metrics like the price to earnings, price to sales, etc. Yeah. So yeah, so this is something that you can play around, and like you can create your own portfolio on this and like track your performance. Yeah. So yeah, so that is one option for that. So maybe before I move on to the next one, I'll do a poll to see what currently whether do you use anything for like tracking your investments. So let me just launch this poll as well. Yeah, so here I'm particularly thinking about like if you're thinking about like stock investments, what is the thing that you use currently to like track your investments and all that? Yeah, and also if anyone has any suggestions or is there any other tools that you have come across, please do feel to like free to like share those in the chat. And to for others are also like aware of that. We want to make this like a learning session. If there's any other tools are not covered here, please feel free to share those information as well. Yeah, I think we can close the poll now. So yeah, so I think most of us are using Excel spreadsheets, but also I think the CSC app is popular, and a few are using other solutions as well. So yeah, like I said, if there's anything that you found particularly helpful, please do drop those in the chat. And yeah, for those who are not tracking their investments, maybe this might be a very easy way to like get started on that, because like I demonstrated, it's like very easy to like quickly set up your portfolio, and you can then start tracking the performance. Yeah. So that is one option. There's another one I came across called like 8 Figures. This also offers like similar features. I would say maybe not to the same extent as Simply Wall Street, but that's another option. Then you also get a few more here. I think one of the challenge with some of these other platforms that are out there is that they are mostly geared towards like the US market. So maybe if you're trying to track like Sri Lankan stocks, maybe they may not show up. So that is one limitation that we have with some of these like global platforms. Okay. Yeah, then the next category I want to get into is the AI research assistants. So these are basically like platforms that are like, so I think many of you mentioned that if you have any questions, you're asking like ChatGPT or whatever the general chat bots. But there are also a few platforms I want to highlight that might help you to like if you're deciding to like as an individual investor to like deciding to purchase a certain stock or like about like certain like invest in certain investments, you want to get information on that, you can then you can use these platforms to try to these are platforms that are a bit more targeted towards geared towards like investors. So these are some you can think about like if you want to do some research on your own before deciding whether to invest in a particular stock or not. So these are some of the solutions these research platforms are what you can use for that. Again, these are what I've picked here are the ones that are more geared towards like individual investors rather than the ones that are geared towards professional like research analysts and like research advice like financial advisors. So this is more accessible. They're meant to be like more accessible for like individual investors. So the main benefit of this is that, you have that natural language querying. So similar to like a ChatGPT type of like AI assistant, you can just in like plain language you can query it for different things. It also has these features like it can automatically like summarize things, instead of you having to go through the entire annual reports and things like that. It will like give like a summary of those details, and then if you want to like go into more detail, of course those the full text is available there. It also one thing that also a lot of these tools do, and where like AI is being applied a lot, is that because now we have the information sources are no longer just limited to like what's in the annual reports and things like that. There's a lot of like information that is out there from like alternative sources, like monitoring things on like social media, and like a lot of these disclosures that are there relating to like ESG and like these up and coming new things, and these macro indicators and like particular industry specific developments that are happening. So AI is able to like sort of like synthesize all those different data and give you like a more holistic picture. So that's a benefit of some of these tools. And it also can instantly like create like some of those insights about these things by rapidly scanning those. Of course, as I think Vasantha also highlighted, this is something that to complement your sort of analysis. This is not like a replacement for like what a professional like financial analyst would be doing, because the AI would also be just giving one view. But this is like a good starting point. Like say if you want to get a bit more information, before you decide to like purchase a particular stock, you want to do a bit more due diligence on it. These are like an easy way for you to like get a bit more insights on that. So under that, like one platform that I found quite useful was this stockinsights.ai. So it has a free tier. It also has like paid plans as well. So this one, what it does is that it's purely based on sort of like with filings of like listed companies. Unfortunately, though, it is limited only to the US and Indian market. So if you're following like those US markets, this is a tool that is like helpful for that. So if I just to demo what that platform looks like. So this is what it looks like. So over here, uh, you basically have like a chat interface over here, very similar to like if you use like ChatGPT and things like that. And you can just, ask it sort of like specific sort of like questions about it, So for example, if you want to know about, say for example, you're interested in like how has Apple, the maybe like the Meta Quest performance been over the past year. Yeah. So let's say you can just ask like a natural language question like that. And it will basically like look at the different filings. So the way this works is that it looks at different filings to like give you the answer. And yeah, so yeah, from here you can also customize it, but broadly based on whatever the responses, it will give you something around that. Yeah. So over here, they said have seen record interest in cloud gaming. There are few, and there are some sources that they highlight for this. If I show you some of the past chats on this, for example, over here I've shown provided an overview of Microsoft Xbox performance for the past 3 years. So based on that, you can see that it has given like in this very like nice summarized manner. It has summarized for each particular financial year what the performance has been. And if you want to go into more detail, you can just click on the link and it'll go to the specific filing, and it's given over in the bottom as well. Another one I've done here is for like NVIDIA. So if you want to look at, you can just ask what is NVIDIA's latest financial performance. It will just summarize some of the key details for you. Yeah. So that is the feature that it has. You can also search for like particular filings, things like that. So you have this feature over here where you can just search for, if you're looking for a particular company and the financials of it, you can use this to do that. There's also features specifically for like disclosures for these companies, for these things like management changes, for dividend announcements, earnings reports. Based on the different ones, you can sort of you can do that. You can also like categorize them based on the sentiment. So for example, if you're looking for like any positive news on it, so based on the AI, it will sort of like it has like categorized all these different news that are out there, So based on that, you can sort of like get at a quick glance, you can get an idea of some of the positive, negative, developments that are happening. You can also like create like a watch list here, and based on that, you can then like follow a particular company. So I think here it's already sort of like populated based on your past queries. So you can, create this sort of watch list to like keep track of those particular companies that are of interest to you. Yeah. So yeah, so this is one option that you have available for if you're looking at to get like insights on this. Yeah. And yeah, there's another option, which is also fiscal AI that I come across that also has some good features. Also two like local examples to highlight. So one is this is Capital Alliance. They have like their own GPT as well. So this is not a research assistant per se, but this is for their own webinars. They basically created like a small chat bot where you can query their particular like webinars and things like that. If I quickly show that platform. So this is the Cal Research Assistant. So you can go to their particular webinar GPT, and it will basically like you can then query it to ask about the different webinars that it has done. So instead of basically like watching the entire webinar, you can ask it questions and it will query. Um, you can ask it like questions. You can ask it like questions, and it'll give you like a response based on that. So that is one example. The other one I want to also highlight is this what SoftLogic has created called where you can also query things like the central bank annual reports and all these local filings. So that's another solution that you can look at. Okay. Yeah. Let me just get back to my slide. Hold on, just give me a minute. My slide has not loaded. Sorry, just give me a second. For some reason, my slide has not loaded. Let me just try setting it. Yeah, sorry about that. I think we are good again. Just load that up. Yeah, I think you can see my screen again. So let me just go back to where we were. So the last one I want to highlight is on financial education. So these are like specific platforms that are there as I said, so I think many of you said that you are using like things like ChatGPT and all to ask questions about like finance related topic or investment related topics. But what these financial coaching apps are like, so most of them are like mobile apps, and it's kind of like a coach, like similar to like, you're going to the gym and like you're having like a personal trainer. So these are like finance coaches. So they will basically like periodically like sort of like try to engage with you to try to one is you can use these to like teach you about complex topics and things like that in a very easy to understand manner. So they can so with AI they can create very like gamified simulations, and they can like personalize it to your particular situation. So that is one thing that they do. They also like give you a lot of insight. So like based on like the information I put in about your expenses and your income and things like that, the AI can automatically like sort of like detect those spending patterns and saving patterns and like create like sort of like these teachable moments. So that's what these coaches are doing. So these are few options that I've sort of come across on that. So these are some you can look at. So this Kira Money, so this is what it sort of like looks like. So it's like on an app, you can basically ask it questions and it will kind of like prompt you. Like for example, like if you want, if you like say you have like, want to save this much of money per month, it'll kind of like prompt you. So I haven't used these solutions specifically, but I use another app for like habits and things like that. So it's similar to that kind of habit app. So where you like, it will prompt you like daily or like whenever you set the alerts. So it's sort of like a nudge for you to like to keep you on track with your like financial goals and things like that. So these are a couple of coaching tools that are out there that you can try out. So there's this one called Kiro Money. There's another one called Clio AI. A few of them have like limited features that you can access as a free tier. But then if you want to go for the more the sort of like the more pro version, then you'd have to like pay for them. But these are some of the options that are out there. So a lot of them are for like they provide information, so you can query them, as well as they are like these. A lot of them have these like habit building tools where they will like prompt you to like regularly save and all that. Yeah. So those are some of the key solutions I wanted to highlight for that. So I hope you found that helpful, and I think we can then jump into some questions from the audience then. Yeah, thanks everyone for your attention. Yeah, so if anyone has any questions, so please do feel free to raise them either to myself or to like Wasantha. So if I just check on the chat, I think on the yeah, so one, is there any AI tools to analyze company annual reports to check company fundamentals? Yes, so the one I shared is one of those options. So that is the stock insights AI. That is one option. Unfortunately, that is mainly for like US and Indian markets at the moment, but it's limited to. But the solution that's developed by SoftLogic stockbrokers, the Stock GPT. That one does include like I think currently it is at a beta version. So it does include like information from like central bank annual reports and other the tourism sector reports and things like that. So that is one option. Yeah. Any other Jan for sharing? I think you shared one on stockanalysis.com. Yes, so that's another option I think you can look at. Yeah, Dhananjay, in terms of tracking news, I think so. I believe this the Wall Street, um, um, the Simply Wall Street one. I believe it does also track news on those particular stocks. But I think there are other solutions that are out there as well that does similar things. But yeah, there is one option from what I have come across. Yeah, anyone has any other questions? Yeah, Dylan. So that's an important one question about how reliable are these AI tools in terms of accuracy. So I would say so. I mean, that is the critical question in terms of um, so I would say when it comes to like those platforms that I shared with like to the retirement planning and things like that, a lot of those, I mean, the accuracy pretty much depends on like the assumptions and the information that you put into it. So the more, granular information you can provide about your particular financial circumstances, the more you like carefully adjust those like assumptions that they make about like, so the more granular, the more specific the information you do, I mean, it will do a better job. And But when it comes to like tools like say the investment advice and the sort of like the where you're using AI for like research purposes and all, I think there the important thing is to always like check the sources. So in terms of the example I shared on AI stock insights, that one it's limited to like the filings. So there you can of course, so I think there's a much more higher reliability with those solutions, because then you can directly go to the source and you know that it's from um, that it's from from like an official source that you can go back and check. But yeah, that's always something that you want to be pay attention to. So I would say even if you're using like more general tools like say Perplexity or like Gemini or ChatGPT, always it's important to like query what the sources are, because that's something that you need to be. I mean, even in terms of my own research, what I found is that sometimes the reliability can be like a question sometimes. So you always need to double check the sources and the information. Yeah. Yes, yeah, that's another good point also with regard to the security and personal data protection. So I think a lot of these platforms, that's something that they like also highlight, particularly with when it comes to this retirement planning platforms, because you're entering your like personal data, and a lot of those and in a lot of those platforms, I think us using it here, the limitation we face is that they're geared more towards like the Uh, US customers, but if you're a client in US, you can actually like directly uh, tie the platform to feed in data from like your bank accounts and things like that. So one thing they always, I mean, a lot of these platforms, that's why most of them are like paid platforms as well, is because they like say that they are in compliance with like some of those these important data privacy regulations and things like that. So that's also like a important thing to like to consider when using these platforms in terms of the security of like any personal data that you're entering into that. Yeah. I think a few attendees had like also raised your hands. Yeah, do you have any questions that you want to pose? Yeah, if anyone wants to unmute and ask, please do feel free to do that as well. Yeah. And yeah, if you have any other yeah, and if there's any other tools that you have come across, please do share those with us as well. And yeah, we will also be sharing the slides and the deck on this as well. Yeah, Siddharth, Vasanta, do you have anything else to like add on your side? If not, I think we can close off if there's no other questions on this.
No, Travis, I'm good from my side. I think we can wind up the session.
Yeah, I think we can then conclude then. So yeah, so thanks everyone for like joining in. I hope you found this useful, and please do give your feedback on this. And yeah, we will like share. I think we'll be able to share like the presentations with you as well. So yeah, so hope everyone found this helpful, and thanks everyone again for like joining today.